Hello, friends. Welcome to the Friendly Frequencies podcast. This is episode 5. If you are new, then welcome. My name is Carmen MacLeod. I am your host of this show. This is a show where we talk about things like the universe, the mind, the body, the soul. Sure, maybe the body. I haven't talked about the body much, but the mind, the soul, the universe, everything that inhabits those wonderful things. We like to, get deep into topics that just light up my spiritual self, which is my most prominent self, especially at the moment as I am traveling through Southeast Asia solo and painting murals and in return for accommodation. And I've been immersed in nature and living on islands. I'm currently, an update for those of you who have been following along. I have left Koh Rong, and which is the island that I was staying at, Koh Rong Salem, and I am now in a different part of Cambodia on the mainland, still close to the water, but I cannot go swimming though anyways, because I have three brand new tattoos. My first tattoos, which I will get into that because it's very actually important to the episode. The tattoos actually link really nicely with the topic I'm going to talk about today. So what I'm talking about today is manifestation. If you know me personally, you know that this is my bread and butter for life. This is what I just completely embody every single day and talk about nonstop. I believe that it's the reason that I'm here today, the reason that I'm able to be sitting here in this meadow surrounded by, birds and trees and in Cambodia. And I think everything is just falling into place so nicely, but it couldn't have been possible if I didn't embody the mindset that goes along with manifestation. And I was lucky enough to be raised with this and taught this from a young age, so it's so natural to me. So let's hope that I can get it properly into words, because sometimes even if you embody something so much, it's still kind of hard to put into words. I know I had a hard time last episode when I talked about God, just putting into words why I believe in God, and it's easy to tell the story of when I encountered God, but it's less easy to explain in general terms, or rather than explaining an exact story, like explaining something can be pretty hard sometimes. So let's just see how I can do with this one. But this is a really important one, and I'm really excited to be talking about it today. But I'm going to talk about first the tattoos, because it kind of leads into this. So I got my first tattoos at Jay's place. First, let's actually give a huge shout out to Jay. Jay, if you're listening, I freaking love you and I miss you so much. I am so grateful that I was able to stay with Jay. He's such an amazing person, and I really, really hope that I can attract more people like him into my life from now on for the rest of time. We connected on such a beautiful level with us both being such spiritually connected people, and I've learned so much from him, and really, really I'm going to take my experience there for the rest of my life. It was one of the most amazing things that I've ever experienced, just living on that island with him, with his wonderful dog, and just that I can't even put into words how grateful I am for that experience. He gave me my first tattoos. So I am currently, I have 2 tattoos. One of them is you can see it on my Instagram. By the way, whenever I say you can go look at my Instagram, it's always linked in the show notes. So if you ever, usually I reference something that I'm up to, and then there's usually a photo that goes with it. So whenever I say that, you can check it on my Instagram. That's always in the notes that's attached to each episode. So anyways, you can always go look on my Instagram if you want to see the tattoos. Actually, I haven't even posted it yet, but by the time you read this, I will have. Did I say read this? By the time you hear this episode, it should be up there. But anyways, I have a One of the tattoos I did myself, which was just for fun, as a little flower. But the main tattoo that I got was it's a kind of like a fingers crossed. So it has so many different meanings, but I'll explain to you what it means to me. So when you cross your fingers, I know for some people it means hope and for different things, but no, for me, like my mom taught me that when you're in a conversation, or if you ever, actually not necessarily in a conversation, but if you want to remember something, if you cross your fingers, like say if you're driving and you remember something, I do this all the time, cross your fingers, and then when you get home, you'll remember to do whatever it was. And so I do this in conversations a lot. And when I met Emily, my friend from Germany who was with me for the month, she and I had to do this a lot because, as I've mentioned many times, like her and I had a really great like soul connection, and we talked for hours and hours, and would just like go on these crazy journeys of conversation and have to cross our fingers so many times. At one point, I crossed four fingers. So, well, 8 fingers, meaning I crossed my fingers 4 times within one all at once. So she was speaking, and I thought of 4 different things that I wanted to say in regards to what she was saying. So like her and I wanted to get tattoos for each other. I had never gotten a tattoo. She was getting tattoos on each country that she was going to. So we were kind of thinking, and literally after one day, her and I are like, yeah, we're getting tattoos for each other. Like we're doing it. And I also was thinking of getting a tattoo from Jay anyways. So anyways, I realized at some point, because we were always crossing our fingers and kind of laughing about it, and it was a kind of a thing. So we decided that we wanted to get that tattooed on us. So Emily got hers tattooed on her before she left, because she stayed at Jay's with me for a little while. And so then I got the same thing. Well, it looks different. Mine's colorful, and hers is black and white. But yeah, same hand. I actually got her hand tattooed on me, just minus the jewelry and stuff. But anyways, but for me, it's not just an Emily tattoo or a Cambodia tattoo. It's actually a manifestation tattoo. So when I was getting the tattoo, one, I really loved it. Like, it was such a spiritual kind of experience. It was really meditative, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. And when I was getting it, it was so meaningful because, one, it reminded me of Emily. It was done by Jay, 2 friends who I'm just like so grateful to have met, like, and have such a strong place in my heart. So it was really meaningful that way. But while Jay was tattooing it on me, I was setting an intention for it, and almost like praying into the tattoo, and just setting the intention that this tattoo is going to bring more people into my life, like Jay and Emily, and just like more people in my life who light up my soul the way that they have. People who get me to cross my fingers like this all the time. I want people in my life who have me always crossing my fingers in terms of when we talk, we're talking about things that just light my soul up. And whenever things light my soul up, I always have lots to say about it. And the tattoo has already started to work because I am in my new location now, and I have already made a new friend who I have had to cross my fingers when talking to, which is a great sign. Like, just met her, and within our first conversation, I was, crossing my fingers. We were talking about, she was telling me about how she was spoken to by God in her dream, and it got her to go move to Greece, and like, just really amazing story, and many amazing stories actually within that conversation. And so anyways, I was telling her about my tattoo, and it was really fun being able to cross my fingers, and just like, which symbolizes that, okay, yeah, we're friends. We're definitely friends now. So that was wonderful. So to clarify, manifestation is not getting something tattooed on you and it will come true. That's not necessarily what it is, but a part of the thing, a part of it is being clear on what you want. So I'm just going to get into what manifestation is, and then, when I talk about things like dream boarding, then you'll kind of understand why the tattoo plays into that kind of thing. So anyways, let's get started on what manifestation is. This may be a long episode because it's quite, it's quite in depth, I guess. It's a deep concept. So a lot of you may have heard of it. I'd be surprised if you haven't heard of this. It's popping off a lot in today's culture, which is wonderful. It seems that a lot of people are kind of waking up to spirituality in general and realizing, that there's a lot more to this universe than just physical matter. There's a lot going on, and so here's what manifestation is. For those of you who I know that a lot of you have heard of it, but a lot of you probably maybe don't fully understand it or believe that it's true, or I know that it's quite a hard concept to wrap your head around if you're just learning it for the first time. I can't really imagine it being an easy thing to conceptualize, especially if you're not a super spiritual person. So I'm happy to explain it for you. So basically, manifestation has like so many different definitions, but the one regarding what I'm talking about is making something evident through thoughts, actions, and beliefs. So to just make it super simple to start with, I'm just gonna say your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts and your vibrations create yourself and your reality. So what you think, what you feel, that's what you become, that's what you attract towards yourself. This manifestation embodies two of the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe are, facts of the universe, just like gravity, non-negotiable. They're there whether you believe in it or not. Whether you believe in gravity or not, it's still pulling you to the earth. The laws of the universe are the same way. This is how the universe is structured, and there is no way that it could be without these 12 laws. I'm not going to get into all of these laws yet, like in future episodes for sure, but the two laws that I'm going to talk about are the law of attraction and the law of vibration. So I'm sure you've also heard of the law of attraction. It's definitely the most popular, most commonly known law of the universe, and it's the only one that I knew for quite a while until I really got into my big, spiritual awakening-ish, time of my life. But so the law of attraction is like attracts like. What you think, you become, and what you think your world will become. And this may sound like kind of magical voodoo if you think about it, and like it may sound strange, like how can you, I just think of something and it appears? Well, not necessarily that easy, but it really is. If you think about it, here's an example of, just to get you to conceptualize it more easily, like in some senses, like, so when this is a really great example from The Secret, and that everybody likes to give around this. The Secret is a movie documentary about this, and I highly recommend you watch it because it's like the most common, most popular movie that explains this concept a lot better than I'm going to explain it, but I'll sum it up for you. But one of the examples that they give are when you're looking to buy a car, you get set on the car. This happened to my mom. She got set that she wanted a Tesla, and she started seeing Teslas everywhere. Now, that doesn't mean there's more Teslas on the road. Well, okay, nowadays, yes, there are. But for her, it was like, before she was clear, she saw a few. After she was clear, she saw tons. And this happens for any type of car, anything. Anything that you bring into your awareness, you start to see it everywhere. And when you start to see something everywhere, your opportunities for that thing are right in front of you, all over the place, right? So when you think of, this has probably happened to you, and when you think of it this way, it kind of makes it a little bit easier and more simple to understand. But that's not just it. So, when it also has to do with like your thoughts, the people that you spend your time with, what you're watching on TV. That all shapes what you're attracting, and it all shapes your vibration as well, but I'll get into the vibration thing next. So it's not just if you think of something and it'll come to you, it's not always going to be that easy. So you have to, the law of inspired action is also, that means that you do need to take steps towards what you want. However, if you're just focusing on, if you're just, say you're just doing that, only taking steps towards what you want, you're working your ass off because you want to get to this level of success that you're looking for, and you're trying to strive for this thing. You're working hard, but you're not happy, and you're not thinking in a mindset of abundance. You're thinking in a mindset of lack. So say you're going to work every day, you have a goal of, I want to, whatever, so-and-so have this amount of money for this thing. But every day you're thinking about how much money you don't have. And when a bill comes in, you're like, like another bill, great. And another part of the law of attraction, another example from The Secret, is when you focus on all the bills coming in, what are you going to get? More bills. When you focus on the abundance of money that are coming in, and a good way to do this is to track the money. I don't do this, and I'm going to start as soon as I get home. This is going to be something I'm really meaning to do, but I'm not really making any money out here, so that's why I haven't started yet. But tracking the money that comes in is a very good skill, like a good tactic to attracting more money, because you're focused on the money that's already coming in. And what does that do? Attracts more of it. Yes. So where was I going with that? So like if you need to make sure that your thoughts are attracting what you want. So just be cautious of what you're focusing your attention on, because if you're focusing on, and it doesn't have to do with just money, like anything. So if you're thinking of, say something happens to you, like, you get stuck in a traffic jam or something, just something negative happens, and you're thinking, oh, well, why does this always happen to me? By the way, I apologize. There's lots of cars and motorbikes driving by me, which is strange because I'm in quite a semi-rural area. It's very strange. But anyways, hopefully it's not too noisy. But yeah, if you're thinking of the mindset of like, oh, why does this always happen to me? Why do bad things always happen to me? Like, thinking of yourself as like a victim, and you may be like, things may be really shitty for you in your life right now, and it's good to acknowledge that. It's okay to feel the feelings that come with that. However, you just overall in your life, you need to focus your mindset on abundance. Feel abundant and have the thoughts of, this is all going to work out in my favor. When something goes wrong, like I've mentioned in previous episodes, when something goes wrong, that's a green light in itself. Whatever it was that you didn't get the job, you got fired, whatever it is, that wasn't meant for you. You get broken up with, okay, great. Thanks, then that relationship wasn't meant for you at this time. And when you start embodying that, it takes any negative thing and it gives it a positive vibration. And you really need to believe in this stuff, and believe in that the world is working for me, not against me. When you have this mindset, it works wonders for you. So yeah, and you know what? Not everything that you try to manifest is going to come true. And why? Kind of what I was just saying. Because it wasn't meant for you. It wasn't meant for you at this time. And that's why it's not here. So part of this is you need to get clear on what you want. I'm going to tell you at the end of the episode what you can start doing in order to start manifesting your dream life. But but one of the things is you can do the steps to, and change your mindset, embody all the things, but even then, not everything is going to manifest for you. You're not going to get everything that you want. And that's just because it wasn't meant for you at this time. And you just need to have trust in the universe and the plan for your life, and that the universe has your back. It is working for you at all times. And you really can't see the big picture the way that your soul, or the way that whatever, God, the universe, can see it. So the higher power sees your life as exactly how, everything is supposed to be mapped out. So when something doesn't go right, then you don't see how that's going to positively affect you in the future. It always does. It is always part of the plan. So anyways, I'm veering off a little bit, but that's all part of this, right? So positive thoughts create positive outcomes. Negative thoughts often create negative outcomes. But what they say in The Secret is that positive thoughts actually create positive outcomes more often than negative thoughts create negative outcomes, which is good news for everybody, because obviously we're always going to have like negative thoughts. Not always, but you know what I mean? Like it's part of life to have negative thoughts. And so don't worry about like whenever you're in a bad mindset, right? You know, if something's going wrong, you're having a shitty day, you're upset, don't be, or whatever it is, you know. If you're stressed about money at the moment for a reason, you don't have to worry too like about like, oh no, like this is just going to bring me more bills, I need to get out of this mindset. Just relax, like, because it doesn't mean that you can't feel those feelings. And often the positive vibrations bring positive outcomes more so. And I can't remember why this is. Just go watch The Secret and they explain it perfectly. But that's part of it. So that's kind of the good news about it, is like, just, you know, try to remain positive as much as you can, and things will just really work out for you. And the things that you want will attract if they're meant for you. So, yeah, and so, you know, what you think about, what you talk about, like when you're with your friends, what are you guys talking about? Are you gossiping about other people, or are you talking about things that lift up your spirits and talk about things that interest you and that get you happy and excited? That's totally going to affect what you're attracting into your life. You talk about gossip, more drama is going to happen for you. And you know, the other way. So, you know, what you watch on TV, I know this is kind of hard for some people probably, because I mean, even myself, I was watching some, like, I know, like, I loved like the show like Selling Sunset. I'm not a reality show person, but that was the one reality show that I really got into, and I knew when watching it, I'm like, this is trash, you're watching drama, you're watching total BS drama. However, I just, like, I was too invested in the characters and too invested in, like, the show at that point. It was season 4, and I was starting to really realize that, why am I watching something like this? You need to be watching things that you want to attract in your life. And sure, like, I'd love to be, like, rich like these girls, but I don't want to really be like any of them, because they're, like, total material girls and drama and whatever. Anywho. But, yeah, so, like, a good example, though, is, like, horror movies. I've been realizing about horror movies lately, and I actually heard a podcast about this, about like why this girl doesn't listen to or watch horror movies, is because your mind doesn't actually know what the difference is between like what's real and what's fake. It actually doesn't. That's why you get scared when you watch a horror movie, because your mind is not actually understanding that it's not happening to you. So when you think about it that way, like, why would you want your mind to think that? Because yeah, you watch a horror movie, and for most people, you feel like the weird energy after. Like, I've definitely had weird, bad energy after watching horror movies. I'm not a huge horror movie person, but during Halloween and stuff, I like to watch them. But honestly, like, yeah, my energy is totally off after, and now I really understand that, like, what I watch is going to totally impact, one, my vibration and my energy and my thoughts, and also, like, it's going to attract, you know, it's going to attract the same, like attracts like, so you're going to attract more of that energy, whatever your energy is after watching. So I actually just bought a subscription to Gaia, which is like a Netflix it's like a woo-woo Netflix. Basically lots of, yeah, just like all of the spiritual, basically all the stuff that I want to talk about on this podcast, all the spiritual topics, like, you know, like astral projection and consciousness, and, you know, like really, really cool stuff that I'm super interested in. And I totally switched it out with Netflix, because I'm going to be learning so much on this, and I'm totally on this path of like really wanting to learn all of this stuff. And also I would love to share it with you guys, what I learn to share it with you on the podcast. So, I mean, like, that's just something to think about, like, you know, that you, and also the people you spend time with, you know, if the people you spend time with are low vibration people, then you're going to continue to vibrate at the energy that they are, and at least definitely when you're with them. So you're going to want to attract, you know, have high vibrational people in your life. Who you hang out with is who you become. And that's a whole nother episode, I guess, on itself, but just something to think about. So let's move on to the law of vibration, because this one is even more important. The law of attraction is nothing without the law of vibration, and I've already kind of interwoven them. So, I mean, I may not be like explaining all of this exactly, like it's all there. I may be leaving a couple things out and not fully explaining these laws like exactly perfectly, because obviously I'm not an expert on this stuff. This is just like what I know about it and what I've embodied and what's worked for me. But it's all true. All the stuff I've said is, however, yeah, like I may be, leaving a couple details out. But I just suggest, just go watch The Secret after, and it'll fill in any of the gaps that I may be missing here. But yeah, the law of vibration is key. This is key to manifestation, because if you're doing, so say, okay, I got the law of attraction down, I'm writing down affirmations, I'm getting clear on my goals, I know what I want, and I'm even taking actions towards those. Perfect. However, if your vibration is not at a level that matches what you want, it's not at the level that is coherent. No. If your vibration doesn't match that of what you're looking for, it's not going to come. And when I say vibration, like everything in the world moves at a vibration. Everything has a vibration. So your vibes attract like vibes. That's and so if you want happiness, I mean, if you think about it, like, I know that a lot of people try to manifest things that are super material, like a car, house, blah blah blah, which, I mean, it's okay to do that, of course, but that's not what manifestation is about. Because why do you want that car? Why do you want that house? Why do you want financial freedom? Because you want to be happy. Chances are that's why. So at the end of the day, like, if you really think about why do you want these things, it's usually because you want happiness. And so think about that. Like, if you want happiness, so how are you vibrating? Are you vibrating at a level that goes with happiness? And what I mean by that is, like, I don't even, like, being happy now is what I mean. If you're happy now and just thankful for what you currently have and feel abundant now, and you're not just, like, searching for happiness, like, it's not, like, it's gonna come when, I'm sure you've heard this a lot, I hear this all the time, when you strive to find happiness, the pursuit of happiness, you're never gonna find it, because you need to be present now with what is in front of you now. And if you can't be happy now, then, getting that house, having getting that whatever it is that you're looking for, chances are it's not going to bring you happiness, because really, like, your soul, all of that stuff means nothing to your soul. What really matters is that you're present with what's happening now. You accept life as it is now, and you love yourself, and you love the world, and you love you're just vibrating at that energy now, regardless of what you have or what your bank status is. And as soon as you get on that vibration, everything comes. All the things you want are on their way. So personally, like, I feel totally abundant now. And I mean, that's fair. I mean, like, my life's pretty great, and I, traveling the world, and like, obviously I'm very, like, it's easier for me to say this as somebody who has it really good right now, and versus somebody who's really going through a hard time and dealing with some, with whatever is coming their way. Like, a lot of people if you're in a really tough situation in life, I understand that it's a lot easier for me to say this than it is for you to say this or to embody this, and to, so I do recognize that. However, and feel the feelings with the down times. If life is really throwing you a bunch of shit that, all at once, feel the feelings, and that's okay. But yeah, like I said, like, this is just like a way to live. Like, you can't live your whole life in pursuit of something in order to be happy. That's the bottom line. Like, you need to be happy now, and then everything will come. So, let's see. Yeah, so, like, if you're looking for, just to wrap up the vibration thing, like, if you're working your ass off to make money, and you are like, okay, I'm clear that I want to make, this amount of dollars this year, you're writing down your affirmations every day. Like, I was doing this for a little bit of, like, writing down what I want, writing down my goals every single day. And, like, even doing, like, the 3-6-9 method, where it's like, oh, write it down 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times in the evening. Honestly, like, that kind of stuff at this point, I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, okay, I think it works for a lot of people. It definitely does. But it seems so silly to me, like, just the idea of doing that. But it's true. I mean, like, that's not my way of doing it. That's not the way that I resonate with, just because it seems very like structured, and I don't know, it doesn't seem like but as long as the vibration is there while you're doing it and you genuinely believe that this is what's going to bring you those things, go for it, because it does work when you do it that way. However, if you're doing that, and if you're writing down the affirmations, if you're clear about what you want, you're thinking about it all the time, visualizing, these are all tactics for manifestation. However, if you're still operating at the mindset of lack, so if your mind still doesn't believe that this money is on its way to you constantly, like you need to constantly have the mindset of, oh, this money's on its way. I am so abundant. I have no problem making, X amount of dollars. Like, and just believe it, genuinely feel it in your soul. Like, don't feel like you're broke. You need to feel like you're abundant and rich. And when you vibrate at that, the money's going to come. So you need to have the vibration in order to embody the law of attraction, embody manifestation. So genuinely, a good example of this, I don't know if this is really how it has gone for me, but I genuinely feel like I haven't lost a single dollar on this trip. And I've spent a shit ton of money since being, especially in Thailand. I spent oh my gosh, so much money in Thailand. And between just flights and all the tours and all the stuff, we were doing all the tourist things. We kind of went hard on it for the first month. And oh my God, spent a lot of money. And I have spent money since being in Cambodia, obviously a lot less because I'm kind of getting lots of stuff included. But in general, you would think that my bank account would have a big dent in it. But honestly, I feel like it hasn't. I literally just have had complete trust and knowing that the money is coming to me while I'm traveling. The money's going to keep coming in, and I'm going to be able to travel as long as I want because the money's on its way, and I'm never going to have to worry about it. And I just totally believed it. I mean, I set myself up, I set up drop shipping on my website to sell prints, which didn't really end up making me any money. It was never really I don't think I was ever fully passionate in the print thing. And so that's why I don't think that I attracted the customers for that. But I mean, before leaving, I was set and 100% sure, oh yeah, I'm going to be making passive income the whole time I'm traveling. Now, that didn't happen through that means, I did attract a scholarship from my school. I mean, I graduated now, but I applied for the final awards that I can apply for, and I got a $1,000 scholar or award for just being a good student, I guess. And I believe that, and when I applied for those scholarships, I've done it 3 times now. I receive them every year. I've received tons of scholarships and awards from my school, and especially after winning the first ones, I genuinely just knew when I applied for the scholarships that I was going to get them. I just knew it, 100%. I was okay. It wasn't I was hoping or praying for it. I was I'm sure I did pray that I would get it, but it was I just knew in my soul, all right, that money's coming to me, and it's going to come to me while I'm in Asia, and that's going to be great because that'll cover my flight to New Zealand or whatever. So this is just the mindset that I have embodied every day. And I mean, of course I'm not perfect at this whole thing. I'm not, but this is just, I'm just trying to give you an example of how this is working for me. And some can say, a lot of people can, maybe people who aren't super, aren't convinced that this is really as powerful as it is, may think, okay, well, that's a coincidence. You're going to attribute all your successes to manifestation, and you're not going to think about all your, failures. Yeah, maybe. It's true. But hey, it's working for me. And I know for a fact that, I know this to be true, and I know that this is the reason that I am so abundant right now. And I have literally 0 worries. So if I was thinking, oh, I'm so worried about how much money I'm spending, I am I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep traveling. What if something happens? We're just worried about money. I can almost guarantee you that my money, I would not have as much money as I do right now. Because I'm not operating at a mindset that wants to attract more of that money. And so if I continue this mindset of abundance, I'm pretty certain that it's just going to keep coming in. It's going to keep flowing. So think, yeah, so you know what? Just feel abundant now. As hard as it may seem for you, I don't know where you're at right now, but I want you to just really ruminate on this. And just a good way to start, a really good way to start, is just to like write down some things that you're grateful for. So what are you grateful for? It's literally impossible to not be grateful for something. Something so simple, like I'm grateful for listening to the birds chirping right now. I'm grateful for my mom. I'm grateful, whatever, like tiny things. Like you have good things in your life. Now that's the thing, right? That's the whole point of this manifestation thing. What are you focused on? Are you focused on the things that you're grateful for and focused on all the abundance you already have, or are you focused on the things that you don't have? So think about that. I mean, I know that when you're trying to manifest something, it does come from a place of, okay, I don't have this, but I want it. And that's okay. It's like, but don't be focused on like, oh no, I don't have this. It's more like, oh, I'm so excited to get this. It's on its way to be. So I hope that you can hear the difference in that. That's the difference between operating from lack and operating from a mindset of abundance. One is the knowing that it's coming. One is basically the belief that it's not coming, or just the focusing on the fact that it's not here, because that's not going to attract what you want. So maybe I should take a quick peek at my notes, make sure that I'm covering everything. I think I've got, wow, I did this way quicker than I thought. That is so interesting. I don't know. I thought that for manifestation, because I'm so passionate about it, I thought that I'd be going on for like an hour and a half, but it's kind of good because I actually have to leave. Anyways, I didn't leave not much time for this. But anyways, I'm just going to give you a quick how to. I've given you some tips already, but let's just wrap it up and kind of summarize with some things that you can do. There's a lot more than what I'm going to tell you, but I'm just going to tell you what I believe to be what works for me. Because I told you about the affirmations, the 3-6-9 method, writing down your goals. I'd say definitely write down your goals. That's 100% something that I do and that I think is powerful. And there's totally a bunch of different ways that you can go about doing that. Like if you want to write them down every day, that's definitely helpful. Like it really, really gives it clear. Writing it down, and I mean writing it down with a pen, is different than writing it down on your phone. It is different to write something than it is to type. It has a way higher vibration to do that, way higher energy. So I'd highly recommend getting a journal and just getting clear about what you want. So that's number one. If you get clear on what you want, and it can be, it can be as broad as I want happiness. What I'd suggest, I don't know if this is the best way. I'd say get clear on what you want and be specific. You can talk about, and it can be the money, it can be the material stuff too, but also after getting clear on those things that you want, then ask yourself why. Then write down what it is that you answer for that. So why? I want freedom. Why do you want this this amount of money? Because I want freedom. I want to quit my job. Why do you want, and then write that down. Okay, this is the feeling that I want to have. And then what do? You vibrate at that energy already. Okay? So vibrate and feel, be grateful, feel like you already have what you are wanting. And that thing is going to be on its way to you. And just genuinely, you don't have to be bullshitting yourself oh, I'm already rich, when you're broke. You don't have and then because that's when you're okay, I don't even believe what I'm saying right now. And that's fair. You're okay, but actually rich, I guess, is a different, when I think of rich, I don't think of money. I think of more of a rich in quality, a rich quality lifestyle. But anyways, when you think of oh, I have $1 million, when you don't, don't be trying to bullshit yourself and not really say something that you don't believe. But in that, so what I tend to do is think, I'm so excited for when I have that $1 million. And for me, I genuinely know for a fact I will be a millionaire. I will be a millionaire, and it's not gonna it's not gonna take that long. And I genuinely, that's 100% clear to me. I'm focused on it. I know it. I mean, I don't always think about it. I'm more focused on the present and what's coming now. But at the back of my mind, I always know and I say this all the time. If you know me, you know I say this all the time. When I'm a millionaire, blank. When I'm a millionaire, I'm going to blah 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 blah, with whatever or we're going to say when I'm rich and famous, I say it and I genuinely believe it. Like, not that I never really focused on being famous. Like, it's never really been like a goal of mine. But like when I say that, like, you know, I genuinely mean it. Like, when I'm rich, when I say, I usually say when I'm a millionaire, because personally I already feel rich. So anyways, getting those kind of words and just understanding also like how much power words have over you is really important. So like, like your words are very powerful. So just understand that what you're saying, what you're thinking, you know, be careful of what you're, you know, like, just be careful of like the words. The words have a very strong vibration. And so just be cautious about what kind of words you're using. What are you saying so most often? You know, are you saying things like when I'm a millionaire? Or are you saying things like, you know, I wish that I could just be richer than I am now. You see, there's a big difference in the vibration of those two things, and they both come from the same desire, but one is operating from lack, one is operating from abundance. So yeah, get clear on what you want, take the steps towards it. So also, you know, if you are clear on what you want, but your vibration is there, you still have to take the actionable steps to get there. Like, it's not just going to come to you while you sit there on your ass and not do anything. Like, you do need to take steps to get there. And after all of these are embodied, if you're doing all three, great. If it doesn't come, just accept it, trust the universe, trust the plan. Know that it's not right for you at this moment and that it may come in the future and it may not, but something better is on its way. So another good thing to also say is like, I want this or something better, you know, because if that's not meant for you, something better is on its way. That's just how it works. Life happens for you, not to you. That's it. So that's a question I have, actually. So here's 2 questions that I want to leave you with, just for you to ruminate on. So, is life happening to you or for you? I know I just gave you the answer, but I want to actually ask you, like, how, if I was to ask you that, how do you feel right now about your life? Do you feel like life is happening to you, or do you think it's happening for you? If you think that it's happening to you, if you're like, well, all of these things are happening to me, and I'm all these negative things are happening, but that's not what you should focus on. You need to focus on life is for me. Life is happening for me. No one's life is meant to be painful and sad. You know, a lot of people go through some really hard times, but at the end of the day, like, if you think about it, you know, really, really, really rich, powerful people are often miserable, and really, really, really poor people, and I've experienced this in Cambodia a lot. I've seen a lot of this. Really, really, really poor people who are genuinely happy, so happy, with basically no material possessions, and they are smiling ear to ear. So think about that. Like, you know, no matter what life is giving you, no matter what conditions you're living in, you can be abundant now. You just need to flip your mindset and focus on what you have now. So yeah, if you think life's happening to you, just try to make the change. Life's happening for you. And the more you focus on the things that are abundant in your life, the more you focus on what you're grateful for, the more that stuff is going to come. More of that kind of stuff, more things that you want are going to continue to come. So, another question is, like, what is your energy like? How are you vibrating right now? Who are you hanging out with? What words do you use most often? What shows are you watching? What are your actions? So these are questions to ask yourself and see what needs to make some shifts. See what shifts you need to make in order to get what you want. So I really just want you to start thinking about, like, what life, and this is another good thing to journal about. So I hope you're taking notes here, because I've given you quite a lot of stuff to journal about. But so, like, what's the dream life? Like, if there were no limits, if there's nothing limiting you from the dream life that you want, what is that dream life? Write it down. Everything that you can think of, exactly what you want. You have a partner, maybe you live in this house in this area, and you're feeling, what do you feel? Like, are you feeling so full, so happy, so free, so playful, joyful? Think about all the material and non-material things that you want in your life. How many kids do you want? Do you want kids? What do you this and that. Get clear on what you want out of life. And I hope that you can understand, maybe after listening to this, or maybe just eventually, I hope that you can understand that all of that can happen for you, and it will. And it's all up to you. It's 100% in the mind. You create your reality. So if you're not living the reality of your dreams right now, just know that you can completely shift that for yourself. It is 100% up to you. So if you would like to change your mindset from being a victim to being abundant and being the leader of your life, being living, like, life is too short to be settling for something that's not serving you right now. So I hope that you can be encouraged right now. I hope that this is inspiring you to make any shifts that need to be made if you're not living your dream life already. And if you are, good for you, man. Like, a lot of people aren't living their dream life, and if you are living your dream life, like, props to you. I'm currently living my dream life, and I know that everyone can live their dream life if they just make these tiny little shifts, and it is so simple, and it's 100% up to you. So I hope that this episode may have planted a seed, and maybe it just explained the law of attraction and the law of vibration and just manifestation. I gave you a little bit of a tiny crash course on it, and I highly recommend The Secret if you want to learn a little bit more about it, and just fill in any of the gaps that I may have missed in this. But I gave the main points, and I really, really hope that you will get something from this, and that this can help you live the life of your dreams. So I'd love to hear if this is something that has helped you, and I'd love to hear any of the answers to the questions that I asked you. If something is resonating with you, please let me know. Send me a message, whatever it is. I would love to hear. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this episode. And oh my gosh, there's a giant millipede. Whoa, okay. It's about to climb on me. Creepy. I think it's a millipede. It's huge. I've never seen one this big before. Okay, so anyways, yeah, send me a message if any of this is resonating with you, if there's anything that you've gotten from it. I'd love to hear it. I just love to hear that when people tell me that they loved what I had to say in the episode. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful life, and I can't wait to talk with you again soon. I will see you next week. I love you all. Bye-bye.